Hi everyone, in this video I wanted just to give an overview as to what the FTSE 100 is, just so that any beginner investors out there can know about the FTSE 100 if it's something that they're looking to invest in, just so they're not investing blindly. I'm going to just basically go over what the FTSE 100 is, what companies are in the FTSE 100, just what you're investing in really, and how it's been performing recently, and also how you can actually invest in this fund if you want to. The FTSE 100, you may be thinking, has a bit of an odd name. So people refer to it as the FTSE, so FOOTSIE, if that's how you spell, FTSE, or the FTSE 100. But what it's actually called, I've got it written down here, is the Financial Times Stock Exchange 100 Index. You can understand why people call it the FTSE 100. So basically what it is it's a collection of the biggest companies, the biggest 100 companies, but this does change. I think there's actually 102 companies, but the biggest companies that feature on the London Stock Exchange. And the whole idea of the FTSE 100 is that it's an index fund, so it tracks these biggest companies. And investing in the FTSE 100 or other index funds is a great way for beginner investors to really get into investing, because essentially they're not sitting there having to pick different companies to invest in. They are instead getting a collection of the biggest companies. Now, of course, the FTSE 100, like I said, is the biggest companies in the UK. But of course, many of these companies, as we'll see in a minute, are global companies. They're companies that are worldwide. They know about them over in the US. They know about them over in India. So by investing in the FTSE 100, although you are investing primarily in the UK market and you are basically saying that you believe the UK market will do well in the future and therefore you will earn money, you are also sort of getting a global diversification, if you will, because like I said, loads of these companies are global companies. So let me now get up on my screen what companies feature in the FTSE 100, and we'll just have a little look into some of them really, really big companies. A platform you could use to invest in the FTSE 100 is Vanguard. Now, I'm not saying that they're the only platform. There are many out there. It's just what I personally use. So I'm going to look at the FTSE 100 that Vanguard has. So as you can see here, the FTSE 100 Index Unit Trust is an accumulation fund. Don't worry about that for this video, but essentially that just means that any profits made will automatically get reinvested into the FTSE 100. And it's a good way to build your portfolio and really get that compound interest that investors love. So just scrolling down here, we can see that the number of stocks in the FTSE 100 is not 100 stocks. Oh, the name lied to us, guys. It's actually 102 stocks. I'm going to ignore the ongoing charge because that's specific to Vanguard, and I'm going to ignore the risk rating. We'll come back to the performance and all of the charts in a minute, but for now we're just going to go on to portfolio data and really see what sort of companies and what sort of industries that the FTSE 100 invests into. As we can see, it's pretty much 100% market allocated to the UK. It's got a tiny percentage to the Isle of Man, but pretty much 100% UK. Just as we said. If we scroll down here now, we'll see the weighted exposure. So we'll see what sectors the FTSE 100 is actually investing into. So when you invest in the FTSE 100, what are you actually investing into? And as a beginner investor, you really need to know about this. So 18.8% of the 100% that you're investing goes towards financial, so the financial sector. So these are the big banks, the big finance companies, and we'll see them broken down in a minute. Just following behind that, at 17.3%, we have customer staples, and we'll look at that in a bit as well. Then we have 12.3% in industrials, 11.7% in healthcare. It goes on and on, as you can see here, and we've got just over 10% in energy, in the energy sector, and 1.1% in technology. Now, you could argue that technology is the future, so that is a really small weighting, but it's all open to interpretation, really. So let's just scroll down here again. And this is where it starts really breaking it down. So the companies that it's investing in. And I'm just going to make sure this is filtered on the largest first. So the company which gets the biggest percentage is AstraZeneca. So that gets just over 7%. Following closely second is Unilever. So we can straight away see that two of the biggest companies in the FTSE 100 are in the same sector, so the healthcare sector, the pharmaceutical healthcare sector. And then we go down to the next biggest holding, which is HSBC. So that's a financial sector, that's a bank. Then we have Diageo, we have GSK, GlaxoSmithKline, BP, Royal Dutch Shell, Class A, Class B, Royal American Tobacco, and so on. And you can flick through all of these and you can see the breakdown of these companies. So let's see the smallest percentage ones. Yeah, so you can see that you've got JD Sports, Taylor Wimpey. Some of these you may never have heard of. Other ones will be really, really familiar companies. But the point is that all of these 102 funds are the biggest UK the biggest UK companies on the London Stock Exchange. So by investing in this fund, you are essentially saying that you believe these companies and the UK as a market in general will do well over time. So now let's just see how the FTSE 100 has been performing. So I've just got the graph here on by just going on to Google and typing FTSE 100, and let's just look at it as a whole. So as an entirety from when it first got listed. So we can see here from April 1984 all the way up to the present day. Actually, I think it was 2 days ago. Yeah, because we're at a weekend right now. The market shut on Friday, so it won't show that just yet. We can see that if we take the price that this fund was back in 1984 to the price that it is today, it has gone up from just over 1,000, so £1,096.30, and today, Friday, £7,291.78. So on average, it has gone up. It's gone up by 565.13%. That's great. If you put money in back in, when did I say it was? Back in 1984, and you withdrew it today, you would be making that 565% on your money, which is fantastic. But as you can also see, as with most investments, this graph has really gone up and down over time. And that is just typical of investing. Your money will go through peaks and it will go through troughs. The market will dip, the market will crash. But over time, generally, these things go up. We can see some of the biggest market dips. There was a big one that happened here and it plummeted. It basically halved, and then it started going up again, and then it dipped back down here, 2008. That's, expected the big market crash. I imagine it also dipped. Yeah, it also dipped due to the pandemic last year. So yeah, we can see that it does go up and down, but overall it does go up. And you can break this down further. You can look at it over the last 5 years, 1 year, 1 month, 5 days, 1 day, however you want to look at that. You could also, of course, look at each individual company that make up the FTSE 100. It will take a while, but you could do that and see how they're performing. So, for example, I've just got AstraZeneca up on the screen here, and this is how it's performed over the past 5 years. It's seen an increase, and you could do that for all the big ones, or for all of them if you wanted. Now, I'm not a financial advisor, so I'm not telling you to go and put your money into the FTSE 100 or any other fund for that matter. Just quickly, I do invest in the FTSE 100, but I do also invest in other funds and other stocks and shares. So, for example, I invest in the S&P 500, I invest in the FTSE All Cap Global Fund, lots of different individual stocks and shares, which I can make a video about if you do want that. I'm going to make a video just like this one about the S&P 500 because that is another big one that beginners should know about. But if you want any in particular, just let me know down in the comments below and I'll definitely do that. Another thing that you can do is you can go onto the London Stock Exchange website, which I'm on here, and you can have a look at the biggest risers and fallers within the FTSE 100. So we can see that the British American Tobacco Company has gone up by 2.53%, and you can do that for all of them. That it breaks it down. So GSK again have seen an increase, Unilever have seen an increase. Oh, what's it doing now? I think it's just refreshed. And then if we go down, we can see the biggest fallers. So of course, with an index fund that has over 100 companies in, you are going to see some of these companies go up, some of them go down every single day. So you could just keep an eye on it by looking here and just seeing what sort of industries are going up, what sort of industries are going down. Maybe you want to put some money in some industries that are seeing a lot of growth outside of this fund. It's really up to you, but it's definitely interesting to keep an eye on that. So that's it from me, a really quick overview to the FTSE 100. Really hope that's helpful. As I said, leave your comments below if you want to know anything else about the FTSE 100 or any other funds or shares, whatever that may be, in the comments below, and I'll definitely look to make that video. Thank you so much for watching. Consider giving this video a like and subscribing to the channel, and I'll see you in the next one.